Any ads heard during this episode that are not in our voice are placed by third-party agencies. They should not be considered the opinion of or to be endorsed by Hoosier Myths and Legends.
Welcome to another episode of the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast.
I'm Rebecca Wilhelm.
I'm Mary Quigley.
And I'm Hope Wilhelm.
Join us as we dive into the spookier side of the Hoosier state.
So what comes to your mind when you think of Indiana? Do you think of corn? Do you think of basketball? Do you think of the Indianapolis 500? Maybe you think of famous celebrities who were born in Indiana, like John Mellencamp or Michael Jackson.
But as the saying goes, there's more than corn in Indiana. 92 counties make up the Hoosier state. In this podcast, we are going to discuss some Indiana folklore from each of these counties. If you are into tall tales, ghosts, or spooky legends, then this is a podcast you are not going to want to miss. The legend we have for you today comes from Hamilton County, Indiana.
The story we have for you today is a site that's steeped in history and shrouded in mystery. The Rhodes Hotel in Atlanta, Indiana was built during Indiana's natural gas boom in 1893. This 22-room hotel catered to an influx of visitors. And over the years, it became a hotspot for notorious figures, with rumors suggesting that gangsters like John Dillinger and even Al Capone frequented its rooms. Today, the hotel is well known for its numerous ghostly tales. Guests and paranormal investigators have reported sightings of shadows and apparitions of men, women, and children. Disembodied voices, unexplained footsteps, self-operating lights, and doors that open or slam shut on their own have all been documented. Today, the Rhodes Hotel serves a dual purpose, offering overnight stays for those seeking paranormal experiences and supporting the Lost Limbs Foundation, which is a nonprofit that's dedicated to assisting children in acquiring prosthetic limbs. Grab your cup of coffee, sit back and relax as we uncover the chilling stories and lingering spirits of the Rhodes Hotel.
Today we're checking into one of Indiana's most haunted hotels, but don't worry because we're not staying the night.
That's right. So now I got to admit, Mary, this place looks sweet and quaint on the outside, but don't let its appearance fool you. So let's go ahead and get into it.
The Rhodes Hotel sits right in the heart of Atlanta, Indiana. If you've never been there, Atlanta is a small town with a population of just under 800 people. It's one of those towns that people say you'll miss if you blink.
That's true, but this town has a lot of really neat history.
It does. You know, it's wild to think how central the railroad was back then. These towns lived or died by the tracks. If your town had a stop, you had business. If not, you were basically invisible.
Right? The Rhodes Hotel was practically buzzing at all hours. Picture this, salesmen, travelers, even performers sometimes. Can you imagine the mix of people passing through this place?
It must have been a wild scene. People arriving with steamer trunks, horses tied out front, maybe even a few shady characters sneaking in through the back. You see, in the late 1800s, Atlanta was a bustling stop along the railroad, and the Rhodes Hotel was the perfect overnight stay for weary travelers.
It was built in 1893 by Abraham Kaufman and ran as a hotel by Newton Rhodes and his family. Now, if you've ever driven by it, you know this place just looks like a time capsule. A 2-story Victorian structure with those classic architectural details. Big front porch, bay windows, and a lot of the original woodwork is still inside.
The hotel operated during a time when train travel was the lifeline of a small town. It was common for hotels like this one to spring up close to railroad lines. The Rhodes Hotel offered lodging, meals, and a safe place to rest for those passing through town.
Many well known guests have stayed at the hotel, including outlaws such as Al Capone and John Dillinger. The hotel has also seen its share of tragedy.
Newton's son Everett was diagnosed with tuberculosis at the age of 19 and died in the hotel. Newton and his wife Clara also passed there, as well as a few guests, and unfortunately, some by their own hand.
Now, over the decades, it's changed hands many times. It was used as a boarding house, a private residence, and according to local lore, it was even a brothel at one point. Anytime you hear that a brothel once existed in a historic building, you just know the ghosts are going to show up.
And not just ghosts. There are rumors that during Prohibition, the Rhodes Hotel served as a stop for bootleggers moving alcohol through rural Indiana. So we've got weary travelers, ladies of the night, and a secret speakeasy. It's basically a recipe for some restless spirits.
Definitely. So when we return from a short break, we'll get into the haunting associated with the building.
Are you an Indiana small business owner looking to reach a wider audience?
Consider partnering with the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast directly to advertise your business.
Our listeners are passionate, engaged, and love supporting local businesses just like yours. By advertising with us, you'll connect directly with a community that values what Indiana has to offer.
Promote your business with the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast and watch your customer base grow. Ready to make your mark? Contact us today at HoosierMythsandLegends@gmail.com and let's bring your business to the forefront.
We're back. Let's talk about the hauntings because this place, it's not just a little creepy. It's considered one of the most haunted places in Indiana by paranormal investigators, locals, and even the current owners.
So the Rhodes Hotel is said to be home to at least 5 distinct spirits and possibly more. One of the most frequently reported is a young girl who's believed to be between 8 and 10 years old. Visitors have heard her laughing, seen her running through the halls, and even caught her voice on EVP sessions saying, "Come play with me."
Nope, absolutely not.
And get this, there's a room upstairs that she supposedly favors. Guests have reported feeling like someone was sitting on the foot of their bed, and there's other people who have found toys moved or repositioned. One group that came in brought a ball into the hallway and watched it roll uphill.
Now that's creepy.
Now, another commonly spotted ghost is this man in a dark suit wearing a top hat. He's often seen standing silently at the top of the staircase. And sometimes guests feel him watching them. And others have claimed that they've seen him pacing back and forth by the upstairs windows as if he's still waiting for a train that's long gone.
There's also the spirit of a woman in white, often spotted moving between rooms or standing in doorways. Some think she might be a former guest, a housekeeper, or possibly one of the women associated with brothel rumors. She's quiet, but always there.
And then there are your classic haunted house effects: cold spots, flickering lights, objects moving on their own, and these mysterious voices. Guests have reported being touched, hearing names whispered into their ears, and feeling sudden waves of dread.
One of the most interesting parts of the Rhodes Hotel haunted reputation is just how many firsthand stories exist. Paranormal teams from across the Midwest have visited, and many leave with tales they can't explain.
So the folks at Haunted US spent a night there and reported strange knocks in response to their questions. And they saw shadows darting through the hallways and even a door that opened and closed while they were watching it.
Another visitor described walking into a second floor room and being hit with a wave of emotion, like sadness or anxiety all at once. She felt lightheaded, stepped out, and it passed. Later, she learned a woman is rumored to have died in that very room.
One team brought a REM pod, which is this tool that lights up and makes noises if something gets too close to it. Now, they placed this in the upstairs hallway and it kept going off despite everyone being in another room. When they asked, "Is there a child here?" the pod immediately lit up and beeped.
If you've never used one before, a REM pod detects changes in electromagnetic fields. So basically, if something unseen gets too close, boom, it lights up and makes a sound.
Investigators will ask questions out loud like, "Are you here?" or "Can you touch this light?" And if it responds at the right moment, that's pretty hard to brush off as coincidence.
It's one of those tools that really gets people to second guess what they believe, especially when it reacts to direct questions like that.
And that hallway, it's a hot spot. So you better believe people take that REM pod seriously in there.
One of the creepiest stories came from a woman who visited with her teenage daughter. They were walking up the stairs when her daughter suddenly stopped and whispered, "Mom, there's a man at the top." But no one was there.
Now, that gave me goosebumps.
Same. And here's the thing, these stories came from skeptics, believers, and everyone in between. No matter who you are, something about the Rhodes Hotel seems to stick with you.
So today, the Rhodes Hotel is owned by the Lost Limbs Foundation, which, as we said in the beginning of the show, is a nonprofit that supports families of amputee children. They host ghost hunts and overnight investigations as fundraisers, so your spooky stay can actually support a good cause.
You can book private investigations, attend public ghost hunts, or even rent the place overnight if you're feeling brave.
Beyond the ghost stories, there's real value in the history of the Rhodes Hotel. The owners have preserved its original architecture, and the place feels like a living museum. You're not just exploring ghosts, you're walking through a part of Indiana's past.
That's what makes it so special. It's a window into the lives of people who passed through, lived there, worked there. Some of them just never left.
So if you're ever passing through central Indiana and looking for a little adventure, take a detour through Atlanta. Even if you don't see a ghost, you'll definitely feel the history.
And the next time, we're heading to the heart of Indianapolis for a story with fire, tragedy, and more than a few unexplained bumps in the night.
The Indianapolis Athletic Club might not seem spooky at first, but once you hear what happened there in the early 90s, you might think twice.
Have you ever had an experience at the Rhodes Hotel? Are you familiar with the hauntings there? We would love to hear about it. Please send us an email to HoosierMythsAndLegends@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media. We may use it in a later episode. In the email, let us know if you wish to remain anonymous.
To see our source material, please visit our website, HoosierMythsAndLegends.com. Hoosier Myths and Legends is a Quigley Productions podcast.
Our theme song was written and recorded by Wet Blanket. The song title is Taxidermy Race Car.
As always, stay spooky.